This is Kumilla, one of the largest cities in Bangladesh with a population of more than 6 million. This southeastern city has been always known for its culture and heritage, but in recent years, tensions between the Muslim majority and religious minorities have been on the rise. Now, Hindus are again preparing for their biggest religious festival, Durga Puja. Many fear the festival could again be the target of sectarian attacks. Anil Krishna Pal has been a craftsman his whole life. In his workshop, he and his team make idols for worshipping. It's just a couple of weeks ahead of Puja, the busiest time of the year for him.
It takes 8 days to finish the basic structure and the clay work. Then we need 2 more days to colour it. First we make this background frame with wood and bamboo. Then we make an idol structure with hay and set them on the frame. After that we start the clay work.
Pal was the craftsman who made the idol at the center of last year's communal tension. A video hit social media saying that the Quran had been discovered on a Hindu deity's lap. Enraged Muslims vandalized the makeshift temple and destroyed the idols Pal made. Similar incidents later broke out in various parts of the country. 7 people were killed and dozens injured.
It felt very bad. What else could I feel? The idol that I made myself was destroyed. We could not even provide the offerings. Isn't that a matter of sorrow? We give blessings and pray to the idol. My heart broke.
Later, CCTV footage revealed that the Quran was put there by a Muslim man. But by then, it was already too late. We are invited to Ratna Das's house. She lives in a Hindu majority neighborhood in Kumilla. She has finished her everyday prayers and is preparing for the festival this year.
When the Puja festival approaches, our hearts fill with joy. This is our biggest festival, Durga Puja. We celebrate big. We shop for new clothes, prepare sweets and make feast offerings to God.
But this year, Das and her neighbors fear that the Hindu community could suffer similar violence. New barriers are being built, a reaction to last year's riots.
Because of the incident that happened during the last Durga Puja, we've built this gate to protect ourselves from outside people. On that day, we were preparing ourselves to go to different temples and give offerings. But at noon, a mob came and started attacking. They came here. The men and women from our area built a wall. That's why they couldn't break in. But they vandalized the other adjacent areas.
Whether the gate will really be necessary and will protect the neighborhood is unclear, but it does show clearly that many Hindu people in Kumilla don't feel safe. Ratna and Nipa take us to a nearby temple that was attacked and is now being renovated.
They broke in and took out all the lights. They vandalized the idols and took sound boxes away. If we don't feel safe in Bangladesh, then we have no value here.
Many Hindus feel like Ratna Das. For decades, increasing number of Hindus have been leaving the South Asian country. the proportion of them is shrinking day by day and is now less than 8%. Today, more than 90% of people in Bangladesh are Muslims. Islam is the state religion, but on the other hand, there is freedom of religion. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has vowed to protect this privilege, but religious fundamentalism is on the rise. The government also blames the communal tensions in India for fueling the crisis in Bangladesh. Local human rights groups have counted more than 3,000 such attacks in recent years. Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. Here is the central Hindu temple called Dhakeshwari. We are received by Chandranath Poddar, a member of the Central Puja Organizing Committee and a teacher. He tells us that there are more than 32,000 puja celebration spots similar to last year. He says a security threat is not enough to make them reduce the numbers.
We have to survive. And to survive, just as we have to eat, we also must make people feel strong. We have to do our prayers, because they're part of our lives. In that respect, we are prepared to host puja, and have asked the government to give us security.
The authorities say that they are ready to stop any outbreaks of violence this year, but argue that there is no organized political or criminal agenda behind the riots.
In most cases, a person does it out of sheer personal ill will. We don't have proof that these acts are done with any political agenda or any organized intention. But when an incident like the one in Kumilla or elsewhere takes place, and it offends a religious group, that incites some people to mobilize and react.
We visit Bangladesh's central mosque, Baitul Mukarram, during Friday prayers to find out how worshippers feel about relations with the people of other faiths. They tell us the relationship is not hostile.
Islam says to follow your religion, and if there are people from another religion, do not do anything to harm them. If there is a conflict, there are laws and judicial systems to solve it. We want everyone to live in peace. We want to take care of them, and they will also live with us in harmony.
But the number of attacks on minorities has grown recently. If there is a rumor of defamation, a violent response often follows. Here in this mosque, the clerics preach about religious cohesiveness. We talk to the head cleric, Hafiz Maulana Mufti Muhammad Ruhul Amin. He says Muslims as a whole are blamed for crimes committed in the name of religion by groups with vested interests. He wants the perpetrators of last year's riots to be brought to justice.
The government should ensure that such incidents do not happen again. They must act. They should keep an eye on these perpetrators. Our message is always the same. These acts are not accepted by religion. Religion never teaches people to be undisciplined. Our duty is to spread that knowledge to everyone. We do that. People who don't follow that and harm others, even if the government fails to punish them, Allah will.
But these teachings don't always reach the grassroots. Podar said that there are also many places in the country where Muslims help the Hindus to celebrate their religious festival, but the state is failing to uphold that harmony.
This is very frustrating that the perpetrators go unpunished. So, they feel encouraged to stage attacks, one after another.
This is a central and recurring issue. Victims of the riots say they are being denied justice, while the police insist that everything is done in accordance with the law. The reason lies in the law itself. According to Shahryar Kabir, a journalist and researcher of communal conflict based in Bangladesh, he says that Bangladeshi people are generally united. The fundamentalists are taking advantage by creating these conflicts. And on the other hand, the government is not doing enough.
A lot of times the perpetrators get away because of the old criminal law from the British period. It requires so many witnesses and so much evidence that cannot be managed in many cases. Only a very few trials take place. We have advised the government to form a national minority commission or pass a minority protection law, which was also in the election manifesto of the ruling party. That will at least give the minorities a little more protection and the perpetrators can be brought to justice.
In Kumilla, Anil Krishnapal is adding the finishing touch to the idols. He is hoping that harmony will be restored, not only for the sake of his work, but for the future of Bangladesh.